Hello and welcome back. You are on Apostate Coalition. Tonight we're going to be talking about logical fallacies in the Jehovah's literature again, Jehovah's Witnesses literature again, and this time it's on the original life, 5 questions worth asking. And I think the real question is, are those questions are they worth asking? That's the question.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we're going to find out.
This time on
it's
this channel. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for introducing us, and thank you, as always, for hosting the show. I appreciate you always putting up the effort. And the artwork covers Crisis Fish is back. Because why not?
Crisis Fish, man.
Why not? Crisis Fish is our mascot for the show.
He's like,
yes.
If the flying spaghetti monster is God, Crisis Fish is Jesus.
One day we're going to get him to that iconic position. People are going to see that Crisis Fish and they're going to know.
That's the Messiah.
Yes.
They're going to talk about the show.
I love this. I love this. All right, we'll put that in our back. Well, one of us got some literature, and it is very similar to what we went over originally when we pretty much, I don't know, what, like
invented this podcast or whatever you call this show.
It was some of our first stuff, I think.
I think it was the first stuff we did.
The first episode.
Anyway, which only lasted 60 pages because it was painful. It was also like a 300-page book. Oh my god. Okay. What was it called again? Evolution by Creation, which is better.
Evolution something?
Life, how did we get here? By evolution or by creation?
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I only remembered because I made the thumbnail, had to type it out and stuff. That's the only reason I would remember that. I'd done forgot by now.
Oh, good times. So, yeah, that was a long book and it was exhausting. So for any of you who are here, and I don't know, we could go back in time and we could look at one or something. But
we got some good things out of it for sure.
Yeah, we have our moments in every episode. We just talk long enough. Anyway, no, I've enjoyed doing this with you guys. This is a lot of fun. And I hope everybody who watches, if anybody watches, is enjoying this as well. I think it's just fun to talk. Yeah, all 3 of you. Thanks. No. I don't know. I wanted to do stuff like this, and I enjoy being with you guys, and you guys are fun. But I'm a perfectionist, you know, and so in my mind, we shouldn't be talking about any of this until I know perfectly 100% confidence with what I'm saying, you know, and then nothing ever happens, and I never say anything. So this is our good enough podcast. Welcome. It is the imperfect moments of our lives where we share maybe a little too much.
That's good. I really like that picture. Did you make that just now?
I made that for the thumbnail.
Okay, nice.
Dr. T was just like, we just need Crisis Fish. I was like, yeah, we just need Crisis Fish.
Well, the color scheme of both images work very well together. So.
Yeah, he almost blended in a little too much.
They already had that color on file and just
what are we going to use for the cover of the next magazine?
Choice.
Choose something from the Crisis Fish image.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. Yes. So we got the Crisis Fish mascot from that book and have just carried him with us this whole time. Even though the topic has changed and we've talked about a lot of different things, I guess we're kind of circling back to the topic of evolution. So hopefully we'll all have demonstrated we did learn something. Who knew? So I think Tyler's coming, by the way. I forgot to say that. But thanks for being on time, you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys care.
This will make Jehovah very angry. He is a jealous God. So
it's true. And punctual, apparently. except for where it matters.
Good
Then
job,
it
sir.
then any
What
time is the right time because he's God.
ex-witness awake says WWCFD.
What
What
would
would
Christ's fish do?
Oh,
Christ's
nice.
fish do?
Nice.
We just need a bracelet.
I thought it was what would Christ fucking do?
Same difference.
That's another good one. That's a progressive Christian slogan.
Right, right.
Almost. Like
What would Christ flippin' do? Would
What
be
Christ
their slogan.
do? Anyway, there you go.
Okay.
All right.
Perfect time to freeze.
Yeah, I thought I froze. I thought I froze and just couldn't hear y'all, but now that you're talking,
Well, she's
there she
coming
goes.
back.
Yep, it was me.
There
Yep.
you go.
I don't know
You're
what you
back
guys
now.
heard.
Nothing.
Nothing. I said nothing this whole time. Well,
Yep. You said so. Anyways,
so anyways, oh my god, that
Oh
was the best.
And then it froze again.
again.
All right. Well, it's gonna be one of those days, you guys.
So
Jehovah is
anyways,
very angry with us right now.
I guess. Taking it out on my tech, apparently. All right, well, let's just get to it then. Tyler will join us shortly, I'm sure, and we're going to move on to the title of this. What is this? An article? A magazine? Like a novella?
I was very confused. Okay, so let me say I was very confused when I got this because I was used to all these magazines saying either Watchtower or Awake on the front, and this does not say either. And I open up the front page, and it still does not.
Don't they make
specify.
brochures or maybe it's not a brochure? Like around
Pamphlet?
assembly,
Yeah.
they make like it's not a book, like a low effort book.
They would have special pamphlets that they would have from time to time to hand out to people, or booklets or brochures. Yeah, they'd have like special events. I remember. I don't remember what all these
You
brochures
know what they're
were,
called.
but
Just put it in the chat and put us out of our misery. We'll move on.
This looks just like an Awake magazine, though.
is it
Printing.
just a page or two? What is it? How many? Like, can you show us?
Like 30
No,
pages, I think.
Yeah, it's like just like a regular Awake magazine, like 30 pages
Okay,
long.
right.
So I'm just it seems like an
Yeah.
Awake. I'm just confused why it doesn't say
Alright.
Awake on it.
Yeah. What's the back look like? Can you just hold up the back? Is it just it's got the are those references there, or is it like the reference page?
This says, how fast can a cell produce 3? Where did the instructions come from? And then it has references underneath that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is references.
So that's the reference page. So wow, that's lazy AF. They didn't even put a back page on. They just here's our references.
Yep.
See it for yourself. We did
No,
the research, so you don't have to.
Interesting.
No, seriously, please don't look at our research.
I would have thought they would have hid it behind a back cover page, but
maybe that's why they put it out front, like there, to make people feel more comfortable. Not
yeah. Look at all the references they use.
right.
Yeah. So, I never actually look at references, but look at how many they use. It's something that people can use to justify the reasoning on it.
And nobody at the door is going to be like, "Oh, let me check your resources."
Right.
But the cover doesn't say like anything Jehovah's Witnessy, right? Like if somebody picked it up, they're not going to really know what they're getting into until they.
If you look at the back, on the bottom right corner,
where
you got the jw.org, but that's the only thing that gives it away.
Gotcha.
If you're not already familiar with the way their literature looks,
already know, or if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Well, those are interesting points. Yeah, nothing on the front that would tell me this. This is an eye-catching cover. The origin of life, 5 questions worth asking. Before you scroll to what their questions are, though, I've already seen them. What they've done here, and I'm just going to call it out as it is this is like a college level argument paper. Like, I've been in a college level writing class where I might have to write maybe not 30 pages, but a significant amount of research would have to go into it. Or this could be like, somebody's main project at the end of their master's degree or something, right? A topic you put a lot of effort and research into, and you make drafts, and then you formulate an argument of what you disseminated and what you're trying to say. What's the point of me reading this, right? That's what this is. And so when you read their questions, what they're really doing is they've made an argument. They have a point they were trying to make, and then this is systematically how they're going to take you through it so that you will see their conclusion and, I don't know, be swayed or something, right? So as you read these 5 questions worth asking, I want you to look at it in the perspective of this is a persuasive essay. So what I really want everybody to think about is, what are questions you think are worth asking about the origin of life before you read theirs? Think about it now. Pause. if you're not here live. I have 5 questions that I wrote about, that I thought about ahead of time. I had already read theirs, unfortunately, so I can't say it's totally unbiased. But I have 5 questions I thought were worth asking more. And I can share those with you guys if you want. Yes, thank you. What are 5 questions you'd have about the origin of life?
Or
it could be any number of questions. It doesn't matter. What do you think is worth asking is what I'm saying, because that is specifically what they've said. These are 5 questions they think are worth asking, and I just want us to think about before we're persuaded. What kinds of questions would we think are worth asking?
Yeah.
Right.
Because they're going to tell us the information they think we should know.
Yes. It's a moment of me recognizing that as a Jehovah's Witness, getting this literature so much that I never questioned it, and I just took in the information, and I could repeat it and regurgitate it back enough for people to be pleased or proud, but I didn't question it. At least, not right away, or if it was inconvenient, or it was just, I trusted people, right? I trusted this was good information, so I didn't question it. So this is our chance to not let them take us down a path of where they want us to go. Think about where you want to go.
Right.
Well, I saw your questions, and now I'm going down the path of where you want me to go.
I shouldn't have said that. Damn it. I shouldn't have said that.
Why are you trying to lead us? What's this about? Are we free thinkers or what?
Right. I'm not a free thinker. I just want to think however some actual real life woman tells me to, rather than the Bible.
Well,
I say I'm a free thinker until somebody I'm attracted to tells me to do anything at all. Then I'm a robot.
Jesus.
All right. Well, I'll share my first question that I asked. The very first question I thought of the questions worth asking for the origin of life is, does it matter how we came into existence? Does it matter? What does knowing this information gain us?
I mean, if
I don't really see what it would help unless some scientist could explain to me why it would be good to know. I feel like it's just people trying to prove either
right. If I'm really just starting from nothing, if I've never heard any arguments for or against, it's hard for me to think of any reason why it would matter.
Yeah,
I think it's also a trick question, because it does both matter and doesn't matter depending on the situation, right? If my entire life would change dramatically if it was just simply a different answer than what I know it to be, then yes, it matters. It matters a great deal. I have moved past that particular hurdle, and now I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, at this point, it doesn't matter if I never get to know the origin of life. I will probably never know this in my lifetime. And I'm
Mhm.
okay with not knowing because the answer doesn't change my existence moving forward. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That I just whatever your answer is, that there's no right or wrong answer. It's just I think it's a worthwhile question to ask.
Right. I think, man, as much as we found out in the last 20 years, in science in general, I feel like in our lifetimes, we very well might find out the origin of life on Earth. Um, but uh, I don't actually have to know the exact origin of life in general to know that it wasn't created via creation.
Mhm. And if it
I
was
can,
creation, my only question would be why? Like the
uh,
fuck?
why create it that way? Why?
Not yeah, like
Why?
why the hell did you even create us, bro? Like what the fuck is the point? We out here duking it out for life? That ain't living. The fuck?
Well, yeah, or even just like creating things the way they are now, as opposed like instead of just whatever nature is how God created things, actually putting specifics into it, like, oh, he created it in 7 days from dirt, and then a woman from man's rib. Once you start putting those specifics on there, I'm like, okay, well now I can say for sure that that's not true.
Yeah.
The specifics is what breaks it.
Well, as you guys are talking, I want you guys to, as best you can, think about some of the logical fallacy stuff that we were talking about before, because however way we've been talking about this one question, um, there's a couple of them that have popped up. I think that I've heard, not us necessarily using it, but just the reasons behind it or not doing it, the reason not wanting to know the information, or so anyway, I can't recall a specific example at the moment, but it made me want to pull it up, and then on the act of pulling up my notes, I forgot the example.
That's
But
how it
just think about
goes.
it.
Uh, well, do you, Tosh, on here? Do you want to start going through the questions that they gave?
No, I have more.
I meant not through all of them. I meant, do you want to go one by one, or do you want to go through all of yours first?
Oh, I thought you meant go to their questions. I'm like, heck no, if we can avoid even reading past this first page, I'd be grateful.
Right.
I'm just stalling. Well, I have another question, which was, and this is in no particular order. It was just the order I thought of them. How can we answer the question of how we came into existence? So let's say it's a question that does matter to us. How do we answer that question?
Uh, I have the devil's advocate answer for us immediately. I don't immediately. I guess science would be the real answer for me.
What's
The
that
devil's
even mean?
advocate. Just the scientific method, like trying to actually test things about nature to discover what the origin of life is. But if I were a believer in the Bible, I would say we could find out by looking at the Bible.
Yeah, there's a word for that. Circular
Presuppositionalism.
reasoning. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Well, but there's also, if you are expecting, there's a fallacy in here. If you're expecting a conclusion to match your belief system, or whatever a conclusion you're expecting to see, you can unconsciously bias yourself in doing
Mm.
the actual research, and you will rule out the research that might be in opposition of your point, and literally only go to the things that are confirming your bias. Confirmation bias, I guess that's probably what I'm saying. Expectation bias would be the other one. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and then you probably cherry pick the information from it that you do like, and then throw out what you don't.
And then Texas sharpshooter that biatch right there. Be like, there it is. That's where I was aiming all this time.
And then you count the hits and not the misses. Right? I mean, really, that's what it's literally like the blueprint of what they do.
Yeah. Well, so I'm just going to read this bias here. Expectation bias. I think it has another name. It's also known as the observer expectancy effect. I don't know if they're exactly the same thing, but they're similar enough. I wrote them down. The tendency of people to put greater trust or credence in experimental results which confirm their expectations than in results that don't. It also shows in the tendency of people to accept without question evidence which supports their ideas, but to question, challenge, and doubt or dismiss evidence which contradicts their ideas. And then the observer expectancy effect is when observers' expectations or beliefs like unconsciously affect the behavior of the objects you're studying. So like if you're doing even like a survey and you biasly write all your survey questions for people to answer a specific way to fit your beliefs, is Donald Trump the best president ever? Yes, or absolutely yes, is gonna kind of confirm your bias if you're using that as data to say how amazing he is. But like people in nature, if they're observing something, sometimes just the act of being there disrupts the natural environment, and so you're affecting the results, which is a little bit different, but I think that's where the similarities are. What is this? Like, I saw you doing this and I was like, wait, what am I reading?
Life comes into existence when a mommy and daddy get together.
Oh, that's definitely in here, by the way. We'll get to that. I think.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is.
Yep.
I think somebody made a joke earlier, and then I was like, that's in there. So sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here.
Tyler told us where life starts, and we did not appreciate his answer.
He's not
Your mom's house.
What
is he over here, man? He's running late and he's backsliding on us.
I know.
The Holy Spirit is leaving us as we speak. I just feel it decreasing, dwindling. I just will shut up about this in 2 seconds, but I want to finish what I was going to say. The expectation bias, that observer thing, if you expect something, that you're more likely to see it or dismiss the evidence or something. It's a common bias that I'm gonna 100% admit to. I've done it. I've caught myself doing things that I'm like, wait, did I actually look at all the evidence, or did I just literally go for the answer I'm looking for? And so in experimentation, in science, the reason why I was asking you, Alpha Sub, to clarify what you meant by science will do it, is because the scientific method isn't just that simple, like you can go and Google up what the scientific method is. It's even more in depth than that, because scientists recognize we do this. We are prone to do it. And so if we want to trust the results, we have to figure out a way to ask the question, right? How do we study the subject without interfering with it and skewing the results? How do we know if this drug is actually working, or if it's the placebo effect of people knowing that when they take this drug, something X will happen? It's a real phenomenon we have to account for. And so there's various ways they do that. And one of them is a double blind. Have you ever heard of like a double blind trial? Mm-hmm.
So a double blind means that the people involved don't know. The person taking the drug doesn't know if they're getting a placebo or not. And the person giving them and categorizing the results don't know who's getting what. And that's important because people have gone, you're on this drug. Yeah, that's probably, and then it just sends people down a path of assumptions without actually knowing for sure. And that can cause problems. And I went on this super long tangent because it's so important, you guys. The
Right.
details, knowing the subtlety. You don't have to know all the details,
Right,
but just
though.
knowing that it's at a level that is very meticulous and detailed, because we know we have a tendency to do all these effing fallacies that we've been talking about the last couple of days, weeks, whatever. And just reading this is like triggering me, because I'm like, you motherfuckers know what you're
Everything I
doing.
just talked about, people shouldn't do.
You're
Didn't you
doing
watch
this.
the podcast? Didn't you watch the quiz?
Ah.
We
And
talked
it's
about
just
logical
frustrating,
fallacies.
right? So anyway,
Right.
if I see my way past it, you guys, that's why. Anyways,
The
is
confirmation
there
bias, I was going to say, or I feel like that's how racism often works, because I've been around a lot of racist people, and let me tell you, the reasoning for it is usually stuff they came through via confirmation bias. And
well, I think confirmation bias is very similar to expectation bias. They're kind of
or
on the same wavelength of a cognitive,
right,
I don't know, bad processing, bad logicking, right? But we are all prone to do it. We all do it all the time.
I
And
mean, it
so
just goes down to ignoring data is what it comes down to. Like, and
I
we
see
all
what I
do
want
that
to
at some level.
see. Yeah, there's spectrums of people doing it. There's people who know they're doing it, and then there's people who don't know they're doing it. And I don't know what is it technically a different word if they know they're doing it. Whatever. My point is, it's a spectrum of just that's what we do, and I think if you learn about evolution, there's some explanations there of how that could possibly have evolved. In that
Right.
there was a safety mechanism for us to make certain assumptions, look for certain patterns for our safety that are no longer relevant today.
Right.
And we live in a very unpredictable and fast changing environment that who knows how our weirdness is going to play out here. But there is an explanation in evolution for these things. If if you want, I guess if you want to look for it.
If you want the
If
truth,
you want
You
to
wanna do the
find
work.
it. Well, did anybody else have any other? Ryan, you had a good question. I rattled off a bunch of my questions behind the scenes, and then your question was the best question. I loved it.
Are we asking the right questions?
Are we asking
Right.
the right questions? I
Simply
love that. I love that question. Are we asking the right questions? Because
That's a
sometimes
good
we
question to ask,
can
always.
be on the wrong path, right? We're asking all the wrong things that don't matter.
Looking for love in all the wrong places.
Yep. Going down a path that's like, that's not even where we're at. We're way over here, guys.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good question. The only other questions I had was, what standards of evidence should we have? Because one of the things I've noticed a lot with the creationists, especially this particular authors, are that they like to use a different set of standards for nitpicking science than they do their own books. And so I feel like it's just hypocritical a lot of times. So
Great
I want
point.
to just be clear. What level of standards of evidence are we accepting here? Like what's good? And then the last, let's see, are there people or groups who benefit from me believing how we came into existence? I think that's always a good
Certainly
question.
are. Yep.
Is there somebody who benefits from me believing this? Is
Are
always a
there
good.
people who benefit from my belief of what they're telling me to believe? Absolutely.
Yeah, if you believe, what's the guy that has the Ark Museum in Kentucky that Bill
Oh,
Nye, Ken Ham?
Yeah.
yes.
If you believe his exact detail of how life came into existence, you have a lot of good reason to donate money to Ken Ham. So that would
It's
make a
true.
difference in that aspect.
And you know what? I'm going to just say it right now. It doesn't mean that it's true or false, right? Whatever the belief is, right? It could still be true. And yes, people can benefit from you believing in something that's true. Because if the alternative of you believing something that's false makes you a danger to society, I think it matters. The community is now affected. Yeah. So anyway, those were my questions. Do you guys have? I didn't see if anybody threw any more questions in the chat. Something about ribs. Yeah. No.
Good.
Well, let's see what theirs. Let's see their fine.
See what their questions are.
None of us are smart enough for questions. You came up with the best ones, stolen from the rest of us.
So if I recall, like some of the more classic ways to form an argument in a paper is you do your introduction, you kind of might give an opposing idea to strengthen so that you can knock down the opposing idea to build up your perspective or argument, and then you bring it home with a nice conclusion that just says, this is what you should be thinking. So what are our questions here? What have we got?
How did life begin?
How did it begin?
How did life begin? That's cool. That's fine. We can, it's not a bad question. How do we begin to answer it?
Do we want to dive into each one of these, or do we want to read them all 5 and then go into them?
Yeah, let's just read them. We'll go back.
All right. So how did life begin is the first one. Second one is any form of life really simple?
Okay.
3, where did the instructions come from?
Instructions.
Okay. All right.
4. We're going to find out. There's some instructions, and we'll need to know on the treasure map where they came from.
Yeah. 4, has all life descended from a common ancestor? And 5, is it reasonable to believe the Bible? If you were to ask me to come up with 5 questions about the origin of life,
these are not it.
Would any of them?
Some of them are.
Some of them aren't bad. At least
how did life begin is about
the first one, and
maybe 1 and 4 maybe are
right.
I think 1 and 4. I mean, I think you'll get the answer to 4 once you maybe figure out 1, or it could be wrong.
True.
They might not be connected.
5 is not a question that even bringing the Bible into it isn't even coming to my mind anymore. But
no,
I guess
that one was almost a throwaway because that was where they're going to tell you.
Right.
You can believe the Bible. This is why you should believe the Bible. So the
even though the Bible doesn't really explain the origin of
fallacy or whatever.
I would say 2 and 5 are the questions that I were like, so I don't understand the relevance here. 3 is just kind of a bad question. Like, I get what they're trying to get at. They're trying to talk about DNA, but I don't like the question just is bad.
It's terrible.
But like, what is 2 even? What's the point of 2?
Is any form of life really? I'm sure they'll let us know what the point is.
I'm sure they'll tell us.
Isn't simplicity probably relevant? Like time is relevant. Relative, I mean, not relevant. It's relative.
There is some creationist apologetics argument that involves life being simple. I can't remember what it is though, but I know I've heard it. I'm sure it'll all come back to me as soon as I get to that section of this magazine.
This publication, by the way, is not for sale. It is provided as part of a worldwide Bible education work supported by voluntary donations. If you'd like to make a donation, don't keep your money. You'll need it. Trust me.
Yeah.
More than they will.
Especially now.
They're using all those donations to fight child abuse allegations and
it's bad.
Other legal problems around the world.
Not all the donations go to that. Some of the donations go to printing these magazines.
Sure. I'm sure it breaks the bank to do so.
We want to
And
differentiate. Let's be honest here.
it's a cheap product to put out to make, like, you know, like, give them a pity dollar, right? Like,
Right.
anyway, so yeah, those are the 5 questions. I don't know what to say. I think they're leading us to a conclusion, which will end at how wonderful the Bible is, and why
Mhm.
it has all the right answers, and why its answer is the best answer. Because we'll never know for sure. Probably, I know, Alpha, you said you have high hopes, but we have so many problems. I'm just going to go ahead and say, in my lifetime, I doubt that I'll ever know how life began. I don't think they're participating in helping decide or determine how life began. I think they're just
The
here to
Watchtower
say,
Society.
yes. I think that they're not participating to solve the great question in life. They're like, we got the answer, guys. We've got the answer. Don't
They're
even
not
look
involved in
over.
the peer review process.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Life form simple. Anyways, did you guys want to read any of this? We can
Yeah, I think we should show them just how
all right, let's find out.
right off the bat they kind of jump in with the frickin'
The dilemma. Yeah.
misconstruing. Yeah,
So, but
Childhood indoctrination is the first page. Hey, kids that are
exactly.
in school, let's listen to what you need to know right now.
Get them young.
before we read this, at the last show we had, at the end of it, I showed that I did read barely ahead, and I wrote down, like, my predictions of what logical fallacies that I would predict that we'd see. You guys don't have to see this. I'm just reminding you that I showed it on the last thing, and I can provide it, but I'm ready. I'm ready to see if my predictions are even close. I don't know. I didn't say, like, how many of them I'd find. I'm just guessing they'll use these. So anyway,
Yeah.
let's go ahead and let's see if we can find any logical fallacies as we read through this dilemma of the student, I guess.
Oh, there was one right away. Hold on.
Did you want me to read any of it out loud?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah. I wish Tyler was here. We need him as a Disney video
Oh.
like we used to do.
It's in the second paragraph. It's the theory.
Yeah. You mean the highlighted paragraph there that I highlighted?
Exactly. I'm just gonna highlight the whole damn thing because it's all problematic. But yes, the simple theory.
This would actually be a great thing for PMOs to do, is if you need to fit in, right, and you're just not ready to make your break for whatever reason, and you gotta just look the part, highlight the logical fallacies, highlight the bad arguments, like, go through your highlighter and highlight the nonsense, right?
And some of them are so frequent, you could probably pick
like
a specific
what
color
you're
and
supposed to highlight.
use it as a key code.
Anyway, side note. Okay, yeah, so Peter shifts uneasy in his chair, a knot forming in his stomach. His teacher, a woman he respects, has just finished describing how Charles Darwin and his theory of evolution advanced scientific understanding and liberated mankind from superstitious beliefs. Now, she has invited her students to express their opinions on this topic. Gasp. Peter faces a dilemma. His parents have taught him that God created the earth and all life on it. They say that the Bible's account of creation is trustworthy, and that evolution is a simple theory. One not supported by the evidence. Peter's teacher and his parents all mean well, but whom should Peter believe?
Oh, poor
All right,
Peter.
All right.
He's got a knot in his stomach and everything. I feel so bad for him.
Poor
This
Peter.
is really a dilemma.
Who does he believe? His parents, who say the Bible is trustworthy and did it. God did it.
Peter needs some Zofran.
Get him some Zofran.
Oh, no.
Get him some nausea meds for his
Give him that
bedtime.
mint stuff.
Wake up mom's spaghetti.
There's vomit on his sweater.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, poor Peter. So, I mean, it is honestly, it was an accurate portrayal. Like, I think there have been many times where I, as a kid, was in this situation where I'm like, I know my parents say that this is what it is, but that was pretty convincing. The thing my teacher told me and the stuff I'm learning, gosh, now what do I do? I don't know. I just kept my mouth shut and tried to survive as long as I could. But yeah, I mean, it's honest, at least, I guess.
I mean, I certainly had the same feelings when I was younger, similar feelings, and I feel like seems like this is exactly how they wanted us to feel. Very sick every time we hear anything about evolution or any sort of science, pretty much at all.
That's true, because then you might make an association. This is a real phenomenon that can happen, where you make an association with doing an action that will cause you to then be sick, right? Like you can have nausea because just doing an action that has been very upsetting for you may, like you said, you could actually get to the point where talking about evolution makes you nauseous, or
Right.
seeing gay people kiss makes you disgusted, right? Like these are heaven forbid, these are feelings and emotions that can be learned behaviors based on just grooming, I guess would be my word for it.
Right.
There's physical phenomenon, like just for instance, it's called anticipatory nausea. And so like it can happen with people who like go into chemotherapy treatments, and then they get their chemo that then makes them sick, that then they're puking their guts out because of the chemo, right? It's a real thing making them do that. But just knowing that they're going to go in for the clinic visit can be
Make them feel nauseous.
it can actually, they'll start getting nauseous already.
Right.
So like your brain makes a lot of connections, and your nervous system is connected to your knee bone, right? There's a lot of things that neurologically we can adapt, and maybe not have experiences or have uncomfortable experiences based on this learned behavior. So it's very possible that this kid's going to get nauseous every time somebody talks about evolution or gets physically disgusted when two people of the same sex are kissing. So
yeah. Yep. I know people who had that reaction, so absolutely.
you can usually get rid of it if you're really trying. Just
Oh yeah. Yep.
if you don't want to be disgusted by two people kissing, you could just, work hard at getting over it.
Yeah, just like you would getting over anything else that like if you're legitimately disgusted by it. I mean, what I've been doing is focusing on my breathing, but that only works if whatever is bothering you is not a smell. If it's a smell that's bothering you, focusing on your breathing is not going to help.
You just go keep sniffing it.
Yeah, it's just going to make things worse, actually. So I don't have a solution
All right,
for you.
thanks for that. Oh shit!
Oh my goodness! I didn't think that was ever going to happen.
Oh no!
Well, Hardy, welcome to the party. Tardy.
Yeah, you got left out. I'm sorry. Did you text me?
No, I didn't. I did. I just text you LOL. I had to stop at the store. No.
Get a snack.
Yeah, give a couple things.
Sorry.
You're welcome.
I'll see y'all back in the Word. Good job.
Yep, back in the Word. First page of this magazine.
You missed
Picking up
my
fallacies right away.
reading. The dilemma. All right. Yeah, so we've I'll catch you up here. We've been talking about the 5 most worthy questions that we should be asking about the origins of life and how we got here. 5 questions worth asking. What's your first question?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
What
origin.
would you ask if the topic is the origin of life and you only had 5 questions that were worthy to ask? What would at least one of them be?
What's up with albino shrimp?
Oh yeah.
The blind albino shrimp. What's up with that?
Hey, why'd you make that?
Like, why is that here? Let's see.
Wait, is that a joke?
No, that's a great question. I fucking
Why-
love
why-
it. It's better
why
than
is the
most
book-
ones they had.
Why is the blind? There's a blind albino shrimp.
Yeah,
I'd be
The ones
asking
in
God,
the-
was that a joke, God? Like, why would you do that? What's wrong with you?
the
Blind
ones in the
parasites.
vent, the hot water vents in the bottom of the
Uh-huh.
ocean,
Oh,
Yeah,
those
or the
things
ones in the
disprove God.
caves.
Like, what's the point of that?
If you want to talk about geothermal vent worms, that is what disproves creation, if nothing else.
What's the point of those things then?
To disprove God.
Oh,
That's why
What?
they exist.
oh. Why put it? Oh, we asking God this,
Does
right?
anything have to have a point?
True. Don't need.
But
Don't need to-
that's not really the question. You didn't say what's the point of it. You're like, what's up with them? Why are they here? How'd they get here? You're just asking a very specific, tough question. That's still the same question though. How did we get here?
Jellyfish. Anything in the ocean. Period. Just the ocean in general. Like, what's up with that? What's up with the ocean? We can't even go in there. It's most of the plan. It's most of the plan. We can't even go in it.
Yeah, we haven't even discovered half this stuff. that's in
But
the
we
ocean.
can't. We can't even go in it just regularly.
I mean,
Well,
yeah.
Crisis Fish is back, and Crisis Fish, if you recall, was that fish who was trying to get out of the ocean.
And he regrets
He
it.
came
He
from there,
regretted it.
so he
Was
can
he at the
report to us
bottom
what
in
it's
that
like.
that little sub? Was part of the fish?
I just watched the little piece on the sub. Man, that was good. That was better days, man. Who would think?
They went down in a freaking, what was it? Not fiberglass, but carbon fiber.
Carbon fiber.
Carbon fiber, bro. What's wrong
Carbon
with
fiber.
you?
Controlled by a game controller.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro. He took an extra one just in case, though. So
You know what? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, just the words involved, I don't want to go deep down to the ocean in anything made of any kind of fiber. Actually, now I think of it, I don't. want-
My whole thing was like these were like billionaires who went down there. And my thing is like they went. It's like they took Spirit. Like if you gonna do it, you got the money, do it.
right.
They
With
went
all
cheap.
of that money,
They went cheap. They went cheap.
and they got cheap results.
Yep.
It
They
just goes
found
to
out
show you
about the
having a
origin
lot
of
of money
life.
doesn't mean you make good decisions.
They became the soup that we're soon going to learn about.
But I did watch an interesting thing about him. He did say something interesting though. The guy who they got squished, the main guy.
What did he say?
Well, he was just talking about because first the thing he had an interest in going to space, and he realized we wasn't going to colonize space. He said we haven't even seen all of Earth yet. And it's like, yeah, true, we haven't seen all of Earth yet, especially underwater.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta get to that blind albino shrimp. Once I get that, I'll be good with life.
You are not going to catch me either or. No, it's not.
Oh, I'm not going in the water now.
He wants to eat it, like shrimp on the Barbie, like blind albino. He won't see it coming, you know. He's used to the heat.
I bet it's tender.
Yeah.
That's a tender shrimp.
How are they not cooked?
I haven't heard nobody call
Really
nobody a
cold down there.
tenderoni in a while.
A what?
A tenderoni.
Tenderoni.
Find a tenderoni.
Sounds good.
Only it's all right.
Well, I accept your questions, sir. I think your questions are better. Should we go back to the questions? Did you see what the questions are, Sal?
These are the questions they're telling us we
These
should
are
ask.
the 5 questions worth asking.
And I didn't.
How did life? Go ahead.
I forgot what this was from again.
Just,
Clear, I didn't read the.
it's fine. Double blind. Don't.
Is it a Jehovah Witness book?
Yes.
You'll find out.
Okay.
You'll
Okay,
find
that's all you had to say. Okay. Okay.
This is it, Tyler.
Oh, the truth. Oh, you got the truth. All
Yeah,
right.
he got the true.
Glad you're back.
I have
Yeah.
the true.
Yeah, the truth.
So, how did life begin? Is any form of life really simple? Where did the instructions come from? Has all life descended from a common ancestor? And is it reasonable to believe in the Bible? Or believe the Bible? Excuse
It's reasonable if you make it.
me. If you make it reasonable?
Hmm?
If you make it reasonable?
You can rationalize any belief.
Rational. Is it rational? Is it reasonable?
On camera. Oh, I'm back.
That's right. I was that earlier. All right. So anyway, that's where we were. Any thoughts on those questions?
They're weak. They're weak sauce. Not the questions I would be
You like
asking.
any of them, Tyler?
What'd you say?
Are any of them good questions?
Are those good questions?
Yeah.
I mean, scroll back up again. Let me look. One more time.
Would you think those are it?
How did life begin? That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Is any form of life really simple? Yeah, that's kind of it's worded weird, but I get what they're trying to ask. Where did the instructions come from? I mean, again, I get it's worded weird. It's written in Jehovahese. Has all life descended from a common? That's a good question there.
I thought
Is
so.
it reasonable to believe in the Bible? That's definitely a good question. That third one's like instructions.
It's we.
I know it. I feel like I think what they're trying. I feel like they're trying to ask a different. I think they're trying to ask. I don't know. I think, but I can't even put it in words because it's just. I need to translate.
Because they're leading you.
Well, we kind of agreed that 1 and 4 were okay questions, and that the other ones were.
Because each one is a setup for the next one. You know, they're all leading you to the next, which is going to be answer and 5.
Look at it. Because look at it. Is any form of life really simple? It don't even sound like a question. It's not like, is it really simple?
And what does it matter? Like, why is that even a topic of discussion? Like, what's the point of even asking?
Yeah, you're the one who's making a claim about whether something's simple or complicated. Not me.
They're gonna say, my prediction is they're gonna lead us to it's so complicated it could only be God. The end. I just saved us all this time.
Good. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
We are done, you guys. Thank you.
We have found the true
So this section, to bring it to logical fallacies, this is my like appeal to emotion fallacy, where it's trying to sort of manipulate you emotionally. I've already admitted that, yeah, this is a real thing that I've felt, so I'm already emotionally invested to somewhat. So
somebody gonna read that?
I did a dramatic reading of the first 2 paragraphs at the top there.
Okay, now it's good. Okay. Peter shifts uneasy in his chair. I got it. Is he having like a without any context? That sounds like he's having a boner in class. You don't know.
It's like
Peter shifts uneasy in his chair.
He does respect his teacher, who's a woman.
A knot is forming.
Oh, I love it. His teacher, a woman, he respects. I want to reread this in Tyler style. This kid hiding his boner. Let's go.
Peter shifts uneasy in his chair. his pants tightened. His teacher, a woman.
His pants.
His teacher, a woman he respects, just finished describing how Charles Darwin and his theory of evolution. What is this? High school or college? Because I don't know not one high school teachers are doing that.
I actually think this is meant to be like junior high or middle school.
They don't teach that in high school like that. Because most of the teachers are Christians or whatever themselves. They just blowing by it. But anyway, trying theory of evolution, understand though, they liberated mankind from superstitious beliefs. Now she has invited him over. She has invited her students to express their opinions on this topic. Peter faces a dilemma. Do he stand up and defend Jehovah, or have the class see his boner? That's his
If he stands
dilemma.
up and defends Jehovah, the class sees his boner. But if he doesn't say
doesn't.
anything,
Yeah, they won't see it.
right.
Righteous
Big
dilemma.
So what does he do? They say the Bible account of creation is trustworthy, and evolution is simply a theory, one not supported by evidence. Geez, what year is this? Peter's teacher and his parents all mean well. Whom should Peter believe?
2010. Just like
2010.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Not one not supported by evidence. That's a lot.
So the
Right.
false
That's what his parents
equivocation.
Oh, that's what his parents said. What a
Yeah,
lie.
so his parents have taught him that God created the earth and all life on it. They say the Bible account of the creation is trustworthy.
I don't remember. Man, I don't remember getting beat on my head about that part. Nobody really said it growing up around me. He was like, yeah, God created everything, then they just went on with it. Nobody. Well, they really going hardcore here.
Yeah.
Making
well,
up scenarios.
Yeah. That was a much better dramatic reading, actually. Yeah. So do you guys want to keep reading any of this?
Well, sooner or later, all of us need to confront the question: was life created or did it evolve? I think it's just something that we have to face at one point or not in our life.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not necessarily binary question either, because there are people that think God created life through evolution. And then there are also people that think that the Anunnaki and knocked up some monkeys and
So-
an alien life form created humans. So
It's called the false dichotomy or the black and white or the either or fallacy is what you're describing, where there's falsely two options that you have to pick from. And
same
they've
time,
narrowed the argument down to two options. One that they're going to straw man into sounding stupid so that you will automatically pick theirs.
Yep.
This brochure. Don't worry about my camera.
Oh my goodness.
I'm worried about it. I'm worried about it, brother.
Well, the Bible warns against blindly believing what others teach. So why are we supposed to blindly believe what they teach?
I'm not just blindly believe what the Bible teaches.
Is there a good for the goose is what's good for the gander fallacy?
Probably.
Sure there is.
Or just hypocrite?
What?
Especially in pharmacy.
A false
I'm sure.
analogy. There's a false analogy one. Creating an analogy between two unrelated things and then using the analogy to attempt to make it true. Assuming the two things are similar in other ways because they are similar in some ways. So, does that match what you're talking about?
I don't freaking know.
Where
I
Tyler
was
go?
just-
Oh,
I was
They're
thinking-
hard. They're hard to
as-
figure out.
I was thinking as a pharmacist, if you were to think, well, this person, or not as a pharmacist, but as a doctor in general, this person did very well with 50 milligrams of morphine. So this other person is going to do well with 50 milligrams of morphine.
Right. Apple.
But I don't know what the name of any logical fallacy for that would be.
I didn't realize you were down.
We prayed and brought you back.
One favor, can you swap me back on top of
Oh yeah. We got you. You can't be
Alpha
subjugated.
Sub. There we go.
Alpha sub has to be subjugated. It's our thing. It's just he's the one that's got to be subjugated. It's how we roll. Don't question it.
I don't know what
I don't
I
make
think
the rules.
sorry, what?
Go ahead.
Nothing.
The text that we had, this conversation we had, Tyler said, life started at your mom's house.
No.
And I was like, okay, but literally the next paragraph, if you want to go back up just real quick, we don't have to read the whole thing. But if you go back, the very next paragraph that is next, Tyler, you want to read how life started at my mom's house?
Where?
Where it says each school year. The very next paragraph.
What? What was
Each
that?
school year?
Each school year.
Each school year. Scenario like this play out in thousands and thousands.
Wait, is it that paragraph?
Each year, the scenario like this play out in thousands of classrooms around the globe. What should Peter and students like him do?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's not the paragraph.
Oh, yeah, that's not the paragraph.
I'm sorry. It's in the next thing. I'm sorry. Don't read any more of this. This is garbage. Sorry. I'm misguided. Next page. There. Read that. They'll answer it. It started at my mom's house.
When you were a child, did you ever startle your parents by asking, where do babies come from?
I'm so scared.
If so, how did they respond? Depending on their age and their personality, your parents might have ignored the question and given you a hurried, embarrassed one. Or perhaps they told you some fanciful tale that you later found to be false. Of course, it's a child to be properly prepared for adulthood and marriage. He or she eventually needs to learn about the wonders of sexual reproduction.
This was the wrong paragraph.
I remember my mom tried to have to talk with me.
Yeah.
As soon as she tried, I said, no, don't do this. I'm good. I already know. You ain't got to tell me.
I wrote in the margins of that section where they're talking about how your parents might have described it to you. I wrote liars, cowards, and idiots. Why is it so hard to answer this question to your children? I don't understand.
Your mom.
Your mom. We didn't tell you.
Whenever my child asks me,
I probably tried to do that.
Where he came from, I'm just gonna say, "Well, I fucked your mom."
I mean, it's at least true.
Yeah,
it would have to be if it was true.
Yeah, I've been with everybody's mom.
And then my 3-year-old son's gonna say, "What does that mean?"
A fertilized human egg cell shown above.
Is that really 800 times its size?
I mean, it's a magnification of the microscope they're using to look at it. Like,
I just wonder if they've actually done it to scale, and it's.
Man, they probably just found the picture online.
I think.
Yeah, they didn't do the math or anything.
But
you can see a human.
What it really is
with your bare eye.
Yeah. Wait, what? Can you see it with your bare eye?
I was saying, I think you can. I think it's one of the smallest things you can see. Yeah.
It's like a pinpoint.
Right.
That's how big the egg is?
Yeah.
Yes. And when you put it under a microscope and you put however many times up it is, I mean, they're just saying that if it were this size.
For some reason, I imagine it's something bigger. I don't know.
Human eggs are
Chicken
like
eggs?
ostrich eggs.
That's what I was
Human
thinking.
Once a
That's
month,
what I was
go to the
thinking.
bathroom and lay an
That's
egg.
what I was thinking. Like, that's why that menstrual's so tough.
Well,
Get the ostrich egg.
If you saw the soup,
That
the
lime.
tomato soup, the chunks,
I
sometimes.
know.
Uh,
Woo,
It looked like
sometimes you gotta stomp that. You gotta
looked like-
stomp that thing through the gutter of your shower.
It looked like strawberry. It looked like the strawberries and strawberry limeade at Sonic.
yeah.
It's chunky,
It's disgusting. It's not disgusting, but it's disgusting.
made with real people.
I know.
and that's not the egg. That's like the fluffed off
Yeah. Ain't that the
placental
lining?
in
Ain't the
the
lining
become the
falling off?
placenta. Right.
Sorry, I
the
don't know what we're
endometrial layers that slough off that are no longer going to be destined.
You see what I'm
to be a
saying? See what I'm
Well,
saying? You
The
see what I'm
devil
saying?
has possessed this show, guys. I'm pretty
You see
sure.
what I'm saying? Females are females.
Mm-hmm.
I told you, I'm way more interested in this. Like, y'all like your whole insides peeling on the inside.
It's like a banana in there.
Ugh. Here we are, just over here, just like, well,
I got a boner.
Yeah, that's it. Biggest concern in my life.
So the answer
Can you
to how life
imagine now
began-
being a woman living in a world where half the population that has all the control over what you can do in your life doesn't even know what it feels like to
Oh my gosh!
spend
right?
1 month in your shoes? And they
Mm.
don't care. Out of sight, out
Yeah.
of mind. They don't know what it feels like.
Hey, I'm just doing what the Bible say do.
I know. It's easier that way. Just
It's-
following orders.
First of all, it's all y'all fault because y'all had to eat the apple.
Right.
Well,
Well,
if you hadn't had that apple, I
Yep.
wouldn't have a painful birth.
That is the just world fallacy, the tendency to believe bad things happen to bad people and good things happen to good people.
Oh.
Shouldn't have eaten that apple and you wouldn't have had such terrible menstruation.
Yeah, think about it. Y'all got blamed for the first.
It says so in the Bible.
Y'all got blamed at the y'all got blamed for the biggest mistake. According to them, in the beginning. Man,
Well,
they messed up quick, didn't it?
What?
No, it didn't. Adam and
Nestle
Eve mess up
quick?
pretty quick. I mean, like they messed up quick, didn't it?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, it was
we don't
like,
know.
Like, gee, did they
like
get it
right
good?
away.
I mean, like, soon like, don't it seem weird though? It's like, soon as they got,
Yep.
messed up.
Of course
no,
it is.
no, it
It's all
doesn't say.
set up. None of
We
it's
don't know.
real.
We don't know how long it was. It doesn't say how long they were in there before they ate the
Man.
apple.
No,
It could have
but
been. It
it's
could have been 50 million years before they were like, all right, let me.
So
try
nothing
this
happened in
out."
that 50 million years we're talking about.
Probably not.
doubtful because
Probably.
they didn't have kids or anything like that. So I
They were
don't
just
think
sitting
so. I
there
think
in
it was
paradise.
relatively new.
For what?
Because they'd have been
Paradise isn't
happy.
interesting.
So his plan was to create them to just sit there and do nothing.
I guess so.
Sounds exciting.
Okay.
Sign me up.
It never says apple. It doesn't say any fruit.
I don't see
Here's
how
what we're doing
y'all.
now.
I don't see how y'all as kids didn't ask no questions.
I ask questions, but not necessarily all of these.
And I was like, man, it was always. You sure about that? Okay.
Well, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that we're not gonna get through this whole magazine.
No, not even close. I knew this was gonna happen. That's why it took us so long to get through 60 pages.
Now we got more. Now we got more content.
Right. At least we
Stretch.
started it.
Stretch
Well,
this out,
yeah.
Because I've noticed without a book, without a good book of Jehovah, we stray away.
Yeah, but it
But
was
when
more
we got
fun.
a book with the word right in front of us, blinds us.
We don't even have to think. Does all the thinking for us. Does
All of it.
Who needs
lesson
to think?
plan figured
That's what I'm
out.
looking for.
Oh, look, it's
I
a
want
guy that
somebody
looks
that'll
like
do all
he's
the
doing
thinking for me.
science.
Yeah.
What does the evidence reveal? Tyler, read that one. That was the paragraph I meant for you to read.
The answer to the question, where do babies come from, is well documented and uncontroversial. I didn't want you to find out me and your mom were recording everything. But
Well, it's definitely well documented. I have a whole
Yeah.
website with
life
tons of
always
documentation.
Well documented.
life always comes from pre-existing life. However, if we go back far enough in time, is it really possible that the fundamental law was broken? Could life really spontaneously spring from non-living chemicals? What are the chances that such an event could happen? One in
Wow.
whatever. This is the chance. It happened.
It is hard
Yeah.
for us to come up with chances of anything on that type of like what are the chances of like the universe coming to existence, but one idea on that, like let's see, what are the chances that life would begin in an infinite universe? The chances would be 100%.
Right, because it's infinite.
And the way that they say life always comes from pre-existing life. Well, what exactly do you mean by pre-existing life? We would have to come to an understanding of what you mean by pre-existing life.
Can you put that comment back up?
Yes. This one?
Yeah. Good episode. You remember that one, Doc? Yeah.
Yeah.
They were just
That's the
bored.
defectivity episode. Was that Voyager, right?
Yeah. They were so bored with everything. I wasn't gonna say I started Voyager over, but you know, some people may be mad I ain't watch X-Files.
I've given up. It's fine.
No, one school's hey, I promise you, one school,
Don't.
I promise you, one hey,
Fine.
on Jehovah. I put on Jehovah. I swear to Jehovah.
That is a good Star Trek episode, though, about eternity and do we really want to? Which also kind of.
Q?
What's that?
Did you say this was an episode with Q on Voyager?
It's Voyager. Yeah, it's they go to the Q continuum where all the Q live and see what it's like to live as a Q.
The same actor in it?
Yeah.
I mean, it does have what's his face.
Then they had the one Q that wanted to kill himself.
Yeah, he's incarcerated for basically wanting to kill himself.
Yeah,
and
so they trapped him in eternity.
What?
An asteroid.
That's even worse. What
and
the
then,
fuck?
And then he's
punished for not wanting to live.
Then they turned him to a non-Q, and he still offed himself.
Yeah. They made him immortal.
He was like, I've seen enough. Why would I want? I done lived this long. Why would I want to be immortal? I'm out here, peace. And then where you go from here?
Which is kind of also part of the plot of The Good Place, if you haven't seen that. So similar concept of.
I've seen the entire first season, and I figured it out.
Good. Which place is the bad place?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Don't tell anybody.
There's no good place.
No good place.
Not if humans are there.
I made that same connection. I watched it. Great episode.
Well, am I gonna pull this? Should I pull that? Oops, pull it down or put it up? Didn't mean to.
What are we talking about?
I don't know. Are we?
Pull it out.
What?
I mean, if you guys want to go through the questions, yeah, keep going through it. I mean, we can actually put more effort into it. I spent a good majority of the first part just sort of like blending it in from what we've been talking about the last couple of weeks with logical fallacies and I don't know, just basically all the random topics we talk about. And let's try again. Let's see if we've learned any new skills to help us tackle the same old with a new shiny cover and fancy words that I don't know. It's all the same. So we can see how far we get.
I think we'll do better next week. And I did read when I read through. I was picking up some. I didn't know what they were called particularly, but I was like, something about this is not quite right.
One of these things are not like the other.
I had to kind of study it a little bit more too, in my own way. I have to rewrite things. So like I just rewrote all the definitions and examples of what they were and tried to like come up with my own examples, and it took a really long time.
Chloe.
But I have to do that to like I want to remember them. I want to like see if it's a useful tool. But if I don't know it, I guess
You're committed. You're committed.
I'm
You're
just being
committed.
honest. You know, I don't.
You're gonna mess around.
Come here to lie to you all. Like I'll do it.
You're gonna slip up, and you're gonna end up being Jehovah's Witness again.
I'll take that back.
This how they get you.
What kind of odds are you gonna give me on that?
10-2. I don't know how odds work.
10-2. It's a 10-2.
The 10-2 chances you're gonna be Jehovah's Witness before all this is over again.
Those don't sound like good odds.
No,
I think I've finally seen, like, that's one thing I really haven't seen on TikTok is Jehovah's Witness. I've mostly seen just ex-Jehovah's Witness. You rarely see, well, at least not on my feed. But
they're
I
in the comments, but
I'm talking about making making content. You don't really see it, but I finally found that one woman on live she's really spreading the good word of Jehovah.
Oh boy.
You know.
I have seen some Jehovah's Witnesses make some videos, but they were not directed towards a wide audience. They were like small.
Yeah. I wouldn't do it, but also you sort of have to defend your position a bit. And a lot more people could be watching you as opposed to the more controlled settings of people coming up to you in a, like as you stand on a corner or knock on somebody's door. So if you
catching other people off guard, they're gonna catch them off guard. If somebody just pop in on that live, hey, what you
yeah, it's a shift of power. It's not gonna help. Also, I don't know. I think there's probably going to be an evolution of Jehovah's Witnesses before they crumble, right? Like, I think there's a certain amount of their organization that is not the same, and it's not going to be the same. They have to make they're going to be forced to make a lot of changes, and I see a lot of little fractions coming off before we hear the end of Jehovah's Witnesses. Now you're going to get people really saying, well, they're not real Jehovah's Witnesses. They're this group that fractioned off and they don't believe the real beliefs and so on and so forth.
That's what y'all are. Y'all the new.
We're the new one. Yeah.
Y'all the new Jehovah's Witnesses are ex-Jehovah's Witnesses.
Didn't the original Jehovah's Witnesses already fracture into two separate?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think there's another religion that came out of it.
Students.
I only know that I have the true one.
National Bible Students.
You have the second one, the International Bible Students, and then they became the J-Dubs. Yeah, and they might evolve again. Who's to say they wouldn't? There's a possibility that's around the corner.
They're gonna have to survive.
With everything that they're going through with their legal issues, there's a possibility that's true.
Oh no.
Oh, so upsetting.
All right, well, we'll come back next week and we'll see if you guys want to learn any more about the origin of life. See if you guys have any other questions too. By all means, please put them in the chat. I like to come back here and poke around and see what you guys say.
Yeah, I like hearing other people's questions.
I want to hear more questions.
Mm-hmm.
And in the future, we also do have one other
That's
one
good enough,
that we can go
Dandy.
through.
Oh, you got two of them. That's right. What's this one?
You've been working overtime, brother.
Was life created? Is this the antithesis?
Which
did they go together?
I haven't even opened this one, so
they got the prettier cover on this one with the turtles and the snorkeling and all the complex animals that are not simple at all.
No, this is not simple life. That must have come from pre-existing.
Are those the
Is that a robot?
No, I was gonna say on the back page of the other one has all the references. Are these their references for this one, or is this totally different?
No, this doesn't have references on the back. This has some questions on the back. Why does it matter what you believe? Has science disproved the Bible's account of creation?
The
Oh,
Its
so
wrong-
it's the same
teachings
book.
of evolution based solidly on fact. What?
Same book. Same
It's
book.
going to be very
brochure.
similar. Very
Same
similar.
brochure.
And no, it's not a robot. That looks like a tarantula hawk or something.
I thought it was like a Gundam or something.
But then that bird, that's
Oh,
is that a
That picture looks squish. I don't like
kookaburra?
it.
Yeah, they like the way they put the pictures up there. Like, what were you even doing?
And why is it not folded right?
I don't know. It's just weird.
You want to be on the layout design team?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sign me up to go to Bethel.
We should get crisis fish plushies.
I know that would be great.
I'd
I would
I'd
sleep
totally
with
get
them.
one.
I'm a 3D print. I'm a 3D print me a crisis fish.
Yeah.
Yay!
That's a crisis fish.
Me one.
No, I want one too. God
All
damn
you
it.
really
I'll
have
pay
to
you for it.
do,
I want one. I'm
All
gonna
you
make
really
it
have-
into jewelry.
all you really have to
Jerry.
do is look up a
Jerry.
mud skipper.
A
And
what? Oh yeah,
Mud
that thing is
skipper.
disgusting.
Just
Step on
3D print a mud skipper. It's gonna look the same as the crisis fish.
I know, yeah, it's disgusting. That stuff is disgusting.
But they taste so delicious.
You eat mud slippers?
I don't even know what that
Oh,
It's a crisis fish.
is. I assumed it's like some kind of fish that flops in the mud, maybe. I don't know.
when you
It's a fish
said
that
it,
comes
I
out of the ocean
believed.
and
I
mud.
believed you because you was from your side of the globe, and I was like, I guess that's what they do.
Right.
I mean, I do love crustaceans in the sea. They are quite.
You eat sea roaches?
I would eat a sea roach. Yeah. Sea bugs are delicious.
Do you eat the mussel?
Land rats.
I ate the mussels. I ate
Ew,
the
you eat
clams.
mussels?
Mhm.
The
Huh?
little
Who's gonna
snot.
say ooh? Who's gonna say
Oysters.
ooh you eat every time you say something?
Ain't that some little snot?
Mollusks.
Little
Mollusks
snot.
are delicious.
I like to
I
eat
can't eat it either. Ugh.
Oh, like
don't-
snot.
Ugh.
I like
Ugh.
oysters, but I don't really like the
Like eating a
mussels.
loogie.
Ugh.
You put some hot sauce on a loogie, it ain't bad. Can I cracker?
All right.
Where's the
Wow.
hot potato girl when you need her?
Yeah, that's disgusting. Hot too. Oh man. Oh, man.
We have officially reached Haktua, so
Didn't we reach
Right?
last? I think at one point we reached top two before.
we have. That's what I'm saying. We've reached that point in the evening where we've come full circle to Haktua. So good night, everyone.
I'm really at that point.
Thank you for coming. No, but seriously, next week we'll talk more about it. Maybe we'll be a little more on organized. Possibly, maybe.
I may be a little bit more. I
Don't
may
have
be
your
here a
hopes
little
too
bit more earlier. My kids are here
Maybe.
next week.
Yeah. Maybe you'll be on time.
Maybe.
Thanks, everybody.
Oh wait, what's next week? Am I here next week?
Oh, are you?
Better be.
I just realized I might not be here next week. Sorry,
Where you
we'll figure it out.
What is it? The 8th?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
8.
We'll figure it out.
Okay. Yeah, we might be around. We might not be.
Who knows? Life is.
Who knows?
Love you guys. Have a good night.
Life is
Thanks for
unfair.
coming. We appreciate you. We love you.
We'll miss you even if you don't miss us.
Share. Don't forget to like and share. Bye.
Jehovah's watching.
Jehovah's watching. He knows if you don't like and share. Bye.
Yes.
Oh, wait. What am I doing? I almost like closed the window and ending the stream.